night sky or a beautiful sunrise. There's so much they hold, and just like the old stars, I see that you've come so far to be right where you are. How bold is your soul? I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, and when you're needing your space to do some navigating, I'll be here patiently waiting to see what you find. 'Cause even the stars, they burn. Some even come to the earth, and we've got a lot to learn, and God knows we're worth it. No, I won't give up. I don't want to be someone who walks away so easily. I'm here to stay and make the difference that I can make. Our differences, they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got. Yeah, we got a lot at stake. And in the end, you are my friend. And yes, we did intend for us to work. We didn't break, we didn't burn. We had to learn how to bend without our world caving in. I had to learn what I got and what I'm not and who I am. And I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, still looking up. I won't give up on us. God knows I'm tough enough, and we've got a lot to learn, and God knows we're worth it. I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up.
Take a deep breath and relax into your body. And another deep breath. It's safe to just be present in the warm embrace of God. Can you feel the comfort? God is always with you. He loves you for just the way you are. Allow yourself to relax even deeper and deeper. And as you do so, you might feel a heavy energy in your consciousness. Allow yourself to be present with it. There is no need to name it. Just be present with it. In feeling this heaviness, you can now choose to lay it down. Just lay it down. Let it easily go. Feel how God's embrace and presence is holding you. He's holding you right now. His embrace and warm, cozy love washes away all of the old, what's no longer serving you. Just be present as it's leaving. It's easy to be at peace and with God while things are changing. You have all of God you need, always. And in feeling how God's presence washes away all of which is no longer serving you, you relax in your state of being even deeper. In this state of surrender, you invite more God, more peace, more love. Feel the peace and the fresh life force stepping back where once was heaviness. You are a divine child of God. You are His divine child. as you integrate all of this new peace and fresh, clear life force. You feel the newborn energy. Take one deep breath and gently open your eyes.
Hi, Church of Union family. Happy Easter. My name is Ajahn, and I will be doing your reading for today. And in honor of Easter, we are using the Loving Words from Jesus deck by Doreen Virtue. And I have pulled 3 cards. So the first card is, with God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. Okay, so this card's just a reminder that God is limitless. And as children of God, we too are limitless as well. And that we can manifest anything. We simply, give it to God and allow God to bring it to us. Uh, and know that there's nothing too big that we can ask for, or, it really comes down to um, working through any worthiness blocks to receiving your good. And this isn't, God's not limited only in bringing you material things, but if you're going through, a really big upset or a block, or, any kind of struggle that you're going through in your life, know that it's possible to move through it with God, and that it's safe to give it over to God and allow Him to help you. So know that, there's nothing too big, no problem too big that God can't handle. Okay, so the next card is, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. Okay, so I'll say that again. What things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. Mark 11:24. Okay, so this card to me speaks about aligning with what you're calling in, aligning with your desire. Um, it's one thing to make a choice or to ask for, for it, but believe that it is already yours. Like, that desire was put in your heart by God, and God would not plant that desire in your heart if it wasn't already yours. So, as much as we know that, um, we know this, it's really about, do we truly believe it? Are we actually manifesting everything that we are working towards? So aligning with that choice really speaks to trusting God, and having faith and surrendering and non-attachment, to how it comes to you. Know that it will come to you. And it may not come to you in the way that you thought, but God always comes through. So aligning with that desire is really believing, having faith that, yes, it is coming because God said so, and God always comes through. So what things soever you desire, anything, anything that you desire. When you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. So faith is belief. Yeah, I absolutely trust. Trust in the process, trust in divine order. It is coming. So the last card is knock and it shall be opened unto you. Matthew 7:7. I'm sure a lot of you out there like the number 7. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. Very, very simple, very like God is very literal. Knock, just simply ask and you shall receive. That's basically what this card is saying. Um, it's safe to ask. And, going back to this card too, like with God, all things are possible. Don't limit yourself. Be very, very clear on your desire. And know that what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. So, this deck this reading feels really good today. I think it's just a gentle reminder, just a simple reminder, just a wink from God that, this is really how easy it is. This is how the process is. Is first of all, knowing that you can have anything that you desire simply by asking for it and know that it is coming. And knowing that that desire comes from God. And, if I look at all of these cards and what is it that I really feel into, and I feel like the reminder is at the core of this reading is God is your source. God is the source of all of your good. It's not, your parents, your twin flame, your friends, or your soul family or anyone. Yes, you can experience God through them, of course. Absolutely. But God is your source. And you always go to God. You know, um, if you go to like, someone else and, you know, um, you may experience like the opposite of what you are actually, calling in. So know that God is your source. So this card reading really speaks to that. And I feel very grateful and very inspired and feel very loved by this reading and taken care of. So, yeah. So again, I'm going to go over the cards one more time. Matthew 19:26. With God, all things are possible. Mark 11:24. What things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Matthew 7:7. This is a beautiful reading for this Easter Sunday. Because, a few weeks ago we had that beautiful sermon by Soraya about Jesus's relationship with God and how Jesus knew that, God was his source. And I feel very, very inspired. So I'm really looking forward to the sermon today. So, yeah. So I take this reading with you and have a wonderful Easter Sunday. God bless.
Hello, everyone, and happy Easter! Happy Easter Sunday. I'm Doreen, and today I'm very happy to be introducing Soraya's sermon on Easter. Um, some of you may know, some of you may not. I grew up in a Catholic family, and so I know for Catholic and Christians, Easter is one of the most important day of the year with Christmas. Sometimes even more than Christmas. because Jesus had a message to share on this day, and it is the day of true miracles, of resurrection. And so, yeah, I watched the sermon done by Soraya, and I was really inspired by what she shared. I love her mastery of the story of Jesus, and I love that now she's able to use it through the lens of unionism and basically share with us what the message truly is about Easter. So I had the same feeling as Soraya when I grew up, going through services and listening to the story of Jesus, um, basically told by a lot of priests and pastors. And I was kind of confused by the message that was shared. It was like there were some loopholes in the story or things that were not explained, like the focus was not right. Because where I grew up, people mainly focused on the crucifixion and the message of Friday before Easter, and basically explained that Jesus, the only Son of God, suffered for us to save us from our sins, and that we must stop um, the sins, basically, and repent to honor the gift that He has given us. And so, as I grew up, this message felt um, it really didn't sit well with my heart, I guess. And I understood it more when I became an adult and when I discovered the work of Jeff and Shaleia. And Soraya explained it well. It's not about Jesus being the only Son of God, um, in the sense that he's above everyone and better. And it's about him seeing his divinity and in his divinity showing us the way to ascension, showing us how it's done, showing us that he is divine and that we are divine too, and that we can always choose to follow God. Another thing that stood up for me is um, like this sense of victory that is experienced on Sunday of Easter. It's really important to remember that Jesus conquered death. The story is not about his sufferings, it is about how he stays in peace and he always listens to God. And in that way, he conquered death itself. And he invalidated the power that people gave to death and to ego. And that is his true message. And it is so important to remember that because like Jesus just did not want to suffer on purpose. He didn't willingly invite suffering to him. He just listens to his divine father. He just listens to God. And he's showing us that through peace, through listening to God, we can overcome anything. So where I said it like people, the government had this in this era, in this epocha, they they exhausted all of their means to try to defeat Jesus. Ego exhausted all of its means to try to defeat Jesus, and they did not, because there is no true war. Like, with God, you will always win. You will always win because ego does not exist. So, what Jesus really did was um, showing us that everything around us that is of ego is an illusion and that it does not exist, and that we must be patient. We must have diligence. We must, we must have compassion and truly see that any challenges that we face in our lives is not something that is gonna endure. What is gonna endure is peace. What is gonna endure is joy because it is of God. The rest is meaningless, basically. And yeah, in my experience, like when I was a teenager, what I really liked about the Easter weekend was going to one of the masses, like the services on Saturday night. In Catholic tradition, Saturday night is Gloria Saturday. I don't know how it's called in English, but it's basically that, like it's Gloria. And this is a service where everyone lights a candle and does a procession. The service begins in the dark, and then by the end of the lighting, like the entire church is lit with beautiful lights. With It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. You can really see, you can really feel the presence of God. And this is the um, I guess this is the forward to Easter Sunday, and really the message is that Jesus was never dead because death does not exist. And also, like, I understood it way later when I joined this community, is that it's always darkest before the dawn, and that as Jesus did his ascension journey and showed us the way, we too have to have faith and be diligent in our work and see that we have the power to conquer death. We have the power to be with God, to be in heaven, because this is our birthright, this is our place. And yeah, so yeah, I invite you to open your heart to the message that Soraya is going to share today. And with that, I'm going to let you enjoy her sermon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Church of Union Sunday service. My name is Soraya Andalib, and I will be your Minister of Union for today's service. Before we begin, let's get started with our 3 opening ohms, followed by our opening prayer. You can either say these aloud or quietly in your heart. And now for our opening prayer. I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word. Today I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teaching through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Om, Amen. Hello, everyone. And like I said, welcome to today's Sunday service and happy Easter, everyone. Today is a very special service, and I am just so thankful to be able to share this sermon with you guys today. And in honor of Easter, I want to share a little bit about Resurrection Sunday. I want to share about this miracle that Jesus did here on earth, and really what it means for us as children of God. And as a Unionist, how my understanding and experience of this story has changed, and really some of the clarity and insights that I have gained on this journey with Jeff and Shaleia's teaching, and pairing that with Jesus's teaching and everything that He showed us through His resurrection and just His journey in Ascension. And so I want to just kind of start a little bit talking about Easter and how it is usually seen. I know for me, I'm from the Bible Belt. Easter is a big deal around here, okay? This is something that it's a very cultural thing. Church on every corner, even if you're not religious, like you're probably going to an Easter service around here. We're just all about Easter. We're all about Christmas and Easter, and they're just like really important holidays. And so all my life, I grew up around this Christian culture where, there were like a lot of messages around this particular story. I've heard it from all different kinds of pastors, all different kinds of denominations. And one theme that I have always seen in this portrayal of the story is about Jesus conquering death. That Jesus beat the grave, that He really like in this kind of the way that it's portrayed is almost like there's like this war in heaven, and that Jesus like won the war in a sense. And it reminds me of a meme that I've seen before. I'm bringing up memes again, but it's part of life. There's this meme I saw, oh my God, this was like probably like 10, 15 years ago. But it always stood out to me, this particular one, because there's an image of like Jesus arm wrestling with the devil. And it just always struck me because it gives this impression that there's like a war in heaven, in the sense that, like good and evil in a sense, like God has to war against the devil, and that obviously God is more powerful than Satan. But there's this perspective that like there's a challenge to overcome, and that the truth and love and God and Jesus had to overcome something that was a true enemy that actually could be harmful. Like there was a war, and that they won the war. But the reality is that there's only truth and illusions. When we think in terms of duality, we're thinking a lot about like good and evil, and that there's this like good versus evil. But there really is just God and the belief, the idea of something other than God. But it's not actually real. It's not actually possible for there to be anything apart from God. And from a Unionist perspective, looking at Jesus's resurrection, looking at the story that is just so hugely important to the Christian faith, and really like world religions, like this is out of all the miracles that Jesus performed, this is like the most, I would call it like the most famous one, because conquering death, resurrecting Himself, such a powerful thing, because death is an illusion that has a lot of energy behind it, and a lot like in the collective,
it's really seen as like something that has a lot of power. And, it's interesting because that's even why Jesus was crucified to begin with. The religious and political leaders of that time, this is like story time, you guys. The religious and political leaders of that time, they saw the crucifixion as a way to end his message. They saw Jesus as a threat to their control and their power. And so they wanted to basically crush him and crush his message, his ministry, his following. They wanted to like eradicate Jesus. And they saw death and, specifically the crucifixion as a way to end Jesus and end his message of love and hope and healing and power and God. And so this whole thing started with this belief that death was real and that death had power over God, that control could be exerted and it could crush the truth under it, that it could make what God created perfect, hidden and insignificant, and take away its power. And of course, nothing can do that. And so with the resurrection, Jesus was proving that illusions have no power, that death has no power because it is an illusion, and that only love is real, and that you can't threaten God. You cannot. And it doesn't matter how big the illusion seems, how much energy is behind it, how many people believe in it. It is just not the truth. And because Jesus didn't align with illusions, because he did not put his faith in things that were not real, because he only put his faith in God, because he stood with God and he lived with God, and he did not choose separation from God. He did not choose to buy into illusions and ego and all of that. Miracles for him, it was just like seeing through the lie. It was just like, oh, like, just a choice. And, by him taking that one thing that his like, I guess, so-called enemies at that time, the people who were like, trying to attack him and trying to crush him and his message, by taking that one thing, they got to like exhaust all of their anger and hatred on him. Like they had the crown of thorns and all like this huge thing around his crucifixion, and the way that they treated him, the way that they tortured and tormented him. They exhausted their anger. They wore themselves out, and they did physically kill him. And that had no power, because Jesus knew who he was, because he is divine, and he knew that, and he knew God, and he did not give his power away to the lie. So they could not actually take anything from him. They could not actually stop him from being what he was. They could not crush him or his message. It's still around to this day. Love prevailed. And to me, as a Unionist, when I look at Easter and I look at Resurrection Sunday and the story of, Jesus, conquering the grave, so to speak, that is what stands out to me today when I look at the story. I've seen it portrayed in so many different ways. I've heard so many different pastors talk about this from different denominations, and different angles, and just different perspectives on it. And I can honestly say that the most powerful thing to me about this story, it's not that it was a prophecy that he fulfilled. Of course, like, we have prophecies to this day that are being fulfilled. Prophecy being fulfilled is a beautiful and wonderful thing. But to me, that's not what makes this so powerful. The message that Jesus sent with what he did, so powerful. To me, it is what he proved when he resurrected, when he came back. He proved that there is no lie, no matter how powerful it's perceived, no matter how many people are behind it, no matter how great the powers of the world seem to be that seem to come against the Son of God. There is no power apart from God. Control is not power. When they were holding on to their hatred and lashing out at him and wanting him to be crushed under their hatred and their evil, it had no power, no authority, because it was not based on the truth. And because Jesus stood with the truth, every lie fell before him, and he proved that only love is real. And in doing that, he also proved what it means to be a child of God. He proved what it means to be divine. And a lot of times, you know, from the separation consciousness perspective, another way that this is often portrayed is like Jesus is the only Son of God, in the sense that, you know, Jesus would say like, I am the only Son of God. But when he did, he was speaking from the place of his divine self. And it was never a message of I'm the only one. It was that he was speaking from that place of his Christhood. And, you know, what he was really doing was showing us who we are as well. I've talked about this in a previous sermon, that was really the core of his teaching, was really showing us who we are. And by him going so far as to have that experience of being crucified, having all that hatred unleashed on him, and then healing and overcoming that, and proving that that illusion has no power, it really puts a lot of things in perspective. There's just something about that. Some of our most primal fears are around believing that we are temporary, believing that we can be harmed, believing that people can harm us, believing that we are vulnerable to attack, believing that there's something outside of us that can take something from us. There's so much fear around that, and stuff that comes up for us to heal all the time on this journey in different ways. And this story of, you know, Resurrection Day, of Resurrection Sunday, of Jesus coming back, that to me is like it's just such a huge, it's almost like drop the mic kind of story. It's like Jesus proved that you can do that. Like that is how weak the illusion is. And that is how powerful God is. And there is no war in heaven. And there is no, like, Jesus didn't have to like fight the devil in order to stand in the truth. He just saw the illusion for what it was, and he let it go, and he didn't give it any power. People were demanding that they have power over him, to the point where they crucified him, and he still did not give them his power. He claimed who he was, he knew who he was, and he stood in the truth, and he recognized the illusions for what it was. And he was completely surrendered and submitted to God. And the truth prevailed, because he did not give his energy anywhere else. He did not choose anything else. And so, you know, for me as a unionist, the message that I take away personally is just that, you know, how you heal and how you claim you're good, and how you heal separation, how you resolve upsets, and, you know, release the illusion of ego and all of that. It's not about like fighting something, overcoming your weaknesses, or fixing problems that you have. I used to have that perspective a lot before I came to this work, and even a while after. It took me a while to really let this one go. I had this really deeply ingrained belief that I needed to, like, it was like a self-help mentality of like, I need to fix things about myself. I need to like, you know, solve the puzzle like with my mind, and make myself different through discipline and work. And I had that belief for such a long time. And really, like, that mentality is based on that illusion that, you know, there's something that's like an adversary to me that I have to overcome, that I have to conquer, that I have to push down, that I have to fight against. And because God just is, and because there is no enemy that threatens God, as a unionist, I never have to have that kind of mentality where it's like me against something else, or me having to conquer or fight something else. Like, Jesus didn't like fight the Sanhedrin in the way that, you know, people may have wanted him to, even, and expected him to. He didn't do that, because it just wasn't necessary, because he knew where the power actually lied. It wasn't in engaging with the illusion, it was in claiming the truth. And living from that perspective as a unionist, it's like any illusion can come up. Anything can try to get our attention and tell us like, no, this is real, love isn't real, this lie is real, you know, this thing has power over you, this person has power over you, this situation has power over you. And it will be intimidating, and sometimes it'll be loud, and sometimes it'll be obnoxious. Sometimes it will seem so powerful because it's got like a really big, like loud voice, and it just seems to hold all the power. But that's not actually what power is. Power comes from love and peace. And, you know, my friend, Chrissy, actually shared this recently. She said it several times, and I'm sure Jeff and Shaleia have also said this. I've heard it around a lot. But just how, like, the one who has the most peace has the most power. You know, that is really, really a powerful insight, because that's not what the world often teaches. A lot of times we're taught that power is the loudest voice in the room, the most domineering, the most controlling, the one that exerts that kind of energy. But Jesus never did that because he never had to. That's not, when you stand with the one true God, when you stand with the only power in the universe, when you stand with love, and it's the truth, there's no illusion in it. You don't have to control and exert that. It's just not necessary. And I've noticed for myself, you know, there's that term like what you resist persists. And when you have this mentality of like, I need to fix something, I need to control something, I need to make something happen, I need to overcome something, in that belief system, you're empowering that thing that you want to overcome. And this to me is just such a huge reminder that it's safe to claim that only love is real and that only the truth really matters. And even on our spiritual journey, however it may manifest for us, we never have to give power to the illusion, and we never have to feel like we have to overcome something, because it's already been overcome. Like it doesn't exist to begin with. There is no war in heaven. There's no Jesus arm wrestling the devil. That's not happening. It's just, you don't have to exert that. And the key in recognizing that is really claiming your divinity and claiming that you are who God says that you are, that you've never been anything different, and that because you are God's child, and because there is no threat to God, because God is the creator of all, the only true power in the universe, you cannot be threatened either. It's only the belief that you can be threatened that can create that illusion and that experience in your life. But as soon as you withdraw your energy from that and just stand in the truth, just like how Jesus did, the world can throw anything at you, and you will always prove to remain strong, and love will always prove that it is the only power in the universe, and that nothing can conquer you, not even death, not even the grave. And yeah, I love that. And I feel so relieved to have this deeper understanding of this story. As a Christian, as a Unionist, like Jeff and Shaleia's teaching, and, you know, just this message of unionism, this healing work, this healing journey that I'm on, like it's just so beautiful to me, because this was one story in particular where there were like a lot of pieces that didn't add up, really. Like I said, like that image of like Jesus arm wrestling with the devil, that was not like a joke meme. Like people were taking that very seriously. A lot of people really do feel that way, that God is like fighting Satan, and that there's a war in that sense. There is kind of like, I guess you could call it a war, in the sense that you can experience like spiritual challenges, but they don't have any power. It's that illusion that there's a war, you know? And so, yeah, it's just really healing for me to recognize like really what Jesus was demonstrating through the crucifixion and the resurrection, and what he was really showing us. And that's a message that I feel we can all really take to heart. And I choose to really claim that deeper myself, is really claiming my power, that no matter what occurs in my life, no matter what occurs in my reality, my experience, illusions, you know, fears, upsets, whatever, it's not about fixing a problem. It's about claiming who I am. And ego has no power. It will exhaust itself, just like the religious and political leaders did with Jesus. They wore themselves out trying to crush him, and they couldn't. It's the same is true for us, you guys. And I feel like that's such a powerful message. And I just feel really grateful to be able to share that with you guys. And I hope that, this speaks to your heart like it does mine. And it's just that really beautiful reminder through Jesus's life and story that you are divine. Nothing can take that away from you. And no matter what you believe, no matter how long you have believed it, no matter how powerful it seems, no matter how loud it screams. I feel like I rhyme a lot when I'm speaking, but it's like accidental, but I'm like, hey, that's like, whatever, that's cool. No matter how loud it screams, no matter how big that voice seems, it really has no power over you. And if you believe that it does, you will experience it, but it doesn't mean that it's true. Jesus did not believe it. He chose to not entertain ego, and he chose to not engage with that kind of reasoning because he knew that it was fruitless and that it served no purpose because it had no power to begin with. And, as you walk with God and as you live this life and as you as a unionist, as you claim this path of love and healing, as you walk this path, your life will be a testimony to the same truth that Jesus' life was a testimony to. And that is that only love is real and that love never fails. That is, to me, like the core teaching of Jeff and Shaleia. And that is what this is all about. It's about, letting go of what isn't true and claiming what is, and knowing that that's enough, and knowing that nothing else matters but God. Nothing else matters but God. And God's enough for us. And in standing in the truth, we can never go wrong, and we are completely safe in that choice. And every lie can be like loud and crazy, and it means nothing. It means nothing. Really let that sink in, how powerful that is as a child of God, to recognize that there is no power in the universe that can harm you, that can take from you, that can diminish you in any way. And that as long as you stand with the truth, you will always prevail. And every illusion will fall before you because it has no power. It never did. It couldn't, because only love is real. And God is the only power in the universe. And so as you align yourself with God, you are living as the way that you were created. That's like that heavenly life that you were created for. And you are also living in a way that cannot be refuted, in a way that will endure. You will watch every illusion fall. You will watch people get tired from their hatred and get, worn out with their illusions and their upsets and their pain. And you will prevail as you choose love. And you will be like untouched, unharmed by any of it because it's just not real. And I'm just so thankful to Jesus for really what he showed us and the lengths that he went to demonstrate the truth of who we are to us and to demonstrate the power of love. And I just love it. I'm just so incredibly grateful, and I just feel so honored to be able to share about this message with you guys. And my prayer for you is that you claim who you are in God, who you are as God's child, and know that you don't have to be anything more than you to be divine. You don't have to change anything about yourself. You don't have to fight anything off. You don't have to conquer anything or win any war. All you have to do is just choose to align yourself with the truth and choose to withdraw the energy that you gave to things that are not real. And as you stand on the truth, it's that rock. There's that story in the Bible of building your house on sand versus building your house on a rock. And the reason why Jesus was unmovable is because his foundation was rooted in God, and nothing can shake that. And it's a journey that we all go on to cultivate that foundation for ourselves and to make these new choices of choosing love and to align with love. But it is so worth it, and it makes all the difference in our lives. And it's the way we were meant to live. It's a powerful and beautiful life, and I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you guys and just to see the glory of God and to know the glory of God more and more each day with you. And so with that being said, this feels complete. So with that, we will close with our closing prayer followed by our closing ohms. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life, and I will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you. I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word, and I will share your teaching with him in any way you ask, and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen. Speaking this prayer in your heart means that you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator. And now for our 3 closing ohms. Namaste.
Welcome back. That was a beautiful Sunday sermon. Really thank you, Soraya, for delivering the sermon on Easter and kind of shift our focus and our vision of Easter to the truth of the message of Jesus. And I want to reiterate the prayer that she has for us. I want to invite you to really claim that you are an only child of God. I want you to claim the truth and, yeah, to listen to God and revisit this story of Jesus and see the length that he went through to show us that we're divine and that only heaven is real, only love is real. And so, with that, we're going to conclude this service. I invite you to visit unionism.org for all past sermons, music, card readings that we have done since the beginning of the Church of Union. And yeah, meditations too. And yeah, if you want to support the church, if you want to see more of these services, if you want to have more content or even volunteer, like visit our page about donations and think about like contributing to the church or tithing and yeah, help us show this message of truth to the world. And yeah, we are eternally grateful to everyone that donates and help us do what we do today. So after church, we have an after church tea time where you can discuss live with members of the community about this service, about the sermon, the card readings, meditations, and everything that stood up with you today. So I will invite you to join us in the Unionism Spiritual Discussion Facebook group to participate in that. And yeah, thank you again for attending and happy Easter. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.